Whether it's basketball, football,
You route.
or baseball, whatever you're into when it comes to sports, you can find it right here. Now, play my intro.
Now welcome to the Robb Johnson Sports Show, presented by Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Well, everybody, that's the new intro. I hope you liked it. If you didn't like it, I don't care. If you do like it, thank you. But if you don't like it, I don't give a damn. Because it's my intro. I worked hard on it yesterday, so screw you. I don't care. I worked hard on it. If you like it, you don't like it, whatever. Anyway, what's up, Larry? What you doing, bro? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you doing? Great intro. Very creative. I love it. I love the creativity, man.
Hey, man, we just trying to be creative out here, man. That's all we trying to do. You know, we're not trying to be like everybody else, you know. And especially we don't want to be like Derek Carr and Dennis Allen. So wrong one. So check this out. All right, guys. Here's the bottom line for this question here as we talk about this right here. Dennis Allen and Derek Carr are Dennis Allen and Derek Carr are on the clock. Basically, we're not asking you guys a question. We're telling you this is us making a statement. They're on the clock. Larry, tell them why they're on the clock. Tell everybody why Derek Carr and Dennis Allen are on the clock.
So Derek Carr has been faced with criticism this past season. He had some moments, but for the most part of the season, he did not look like the quarterback that they invested all that money in. And I think if he doesn't succeed this year, he's going to be out. Along with Dennis Allen, Dennis, and the thing about with Dennis Allen, I think a lot of people forget is that he was a part of this New Orleans Saints team 3 years before they won that Super Bowl in 2009.
Yeah.
So he's been within the system, and you see how New Orleans Saints, you see how some of these franchises are. They like to build within. So Dennis Allen was a defensive coordinator for quite some time before he became head coach, promoted him to head coach. He's been head coach there for the last, this is going into his fourth year. If he can't get it done, if there's nothing positive coming out in this season, both of them are out of here.
Well, Larry, the way I put it, sir, is this. High five, dude. You can't get in the screen, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Larry. I had a fan that came and wanted to give you a high five, so I was like, hey, high five, fan. But anyway, this is the way I look at it, right? Derek Carr has been very lucky. And I go back to the 2016 season. If you remember that season, what were they, like 12-4 when he played and they got hurt against the Colts? But if you remember, he lost 2 games against the Chiefs. If he had beat the Chiefs, guess what? He probably wouldn't have had to played in that game. If they had just taken care of business that year against Kansas City, which they didn't, he wouldn't have to play in that game. And guess what happened? They probably got that first round bye, and they probably could have faced Pittsburgh and probably would have beaten Pittsburgh. Remember, they had Amari Cooper. They had a whole bunch of talent on that team. But also, Larry, when you look at Derek Carr, let's look at this past season, okay? They beat the Titans by 1. They beat the Panthers by 3. Whoopee, you beat those teams by what, a combined 4 points? Then Carr gets hurt during the game. They lay an egg against the Green Bay Packers, 18-17. Then they go to Tampa. Then they face Tampa at home, get demolished 26-9. They beat the Patriots 34-0. They lose to Texas 20-13. That's nothing to sneeze at. You lose to the Jaguars 31-24. If you remember, it was that Thursday night game, which was just completely stupid all around. They beat the Colts 30-27. I believe by that time Anthony Richardson was out. He was hurt by that time, so he was out there. They beat the Bears by 7. They lose to Minnesota of all teams. I believe Kirk Cousins was out at this time. I believe he had already torn that Achilles. 27-19. And then you lose to the Falcons 24-15. You lose to the Lions 33-28. Okay, we can give you respect for that. You beat down the Panthers 20-6, which you should. You beat down the Giants, which you should, 24-6. You lose to the Rams 30-22 after the Rams had a tough season, but the Rams started getting going. Then you go to Tampa. You beat them 23-13, and then you demolish the Atlanta Falcons 48-17 after they quit. You end the season 9-8. But here's Dennis Allen's record overall. He's 24-46, including what? 8 and 28 when he was with the Raiders. And when I look at a guy like Derek Carr, he puts up really good numbers. I'll give you that. But he just not delivering the big moments. He just hasn't delivered in the big moments. And I look at other quarterbacks in the league who get all the criticism, like a Josh Allen, who's had to pretty much carry that Buffalo Bills franchise on his back. When you look at a Dak Prescott, Dak hasn't won many playoff games. At least he's won a playoff game. At least he's won one. You know, people talk about Jared Goff. Jared Goff's been to the Super Bowl, okay? People talk about Russell Wilson. You know, he's your former quarterback, and I get all that. But Russell won a Super Bowl. He's got over 300 touchdown passes. He's played well in the playoffs. Yes, he had a good defense. I get all that. But besides the Metcalf years and the Lockett years, when did Russell Wilson have a receiver the caliber of Amari Cooper before he got Metcalf and those guys? Some of those guys were good, but they weren't to a level of that. So I'm just saying, Derek Carr has chance. Oh, and let me say this real quick as well. He is 1-8 versus Patrick Mahomes in his career.
Yeah. Yeah. And see what I was about to say when you're talking about, you know, him not winning a playoff game. How many times did they went to the playoffs?
Once? Once with the Raiders, like once or twice with the Raiders? It was twice.
So he hasn't had that many playoff opportunities to even begin with. Like, people criticize the ability to not win a playoff game, but shit. I mean, I wouldn't say what was he working with. I would just say the team. It's a team factor. Like, the defense was trash, you know. But now you come over to a New Orleans system, your second year here. Like, their defense wasn't that bad last year.
No, it wasn't. And that's the thing. I mean, what the Bucks win? 9 games? All you have to win was 10 games. And this year, who knows? We don't know what Carolina's going to look like. We don't know what Tampa's even going to look like, because, you know, when Baker gets paid, sometimes things change a little bit, you know? We don't know what New Orleans is going to do. We don't even know about the Falcons. Everybody keeps talking about Kirk Cousins got paid, another guy who only won 1 playoff game. And it's ironic because he won the game against the Saints.
Yeah.
Ironic, right?
Right.
And we'll get into Sean Payton a little bit later. But yeah.
But I look at a guy like Dennis Allen, like I said earlier. Like, I think this is a year that you have to put them under the microscope, both of them.
But how the hell did he get another coaching position? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How in the hell did he get a coaching position? Because if you ask me, you put an Eric Bieniemy in New Orleans, because you remember Eric Bieniemy was a coordinator in New Orleans back in the day when they won the championship. And you know, it was really funny. I was watching NFL Network and I was watching the replay, and they're playing the Vikings during the Bounty Bowl, right? And I look on the sideline, I'm like, oh, okay, that was Eric Bieniemy. So I'm like, Eric Bieniemy's really been putting all his dues in, but still not getting head coaching positions. Like I said, maybe Dennis Allen's a part of the good old boy club. I don't know. But how he continues to get jobs and how he even survived. Listen, I get it that you beat the Falcons 48-17. The Falcons quit. So, I mean, what were you supposed to do?
I'm going to look at his defense since 2017.
Okay.
All right, 2016 in points, they were 31st.
Okay.
So 2017, they were 10th, 14th, 13th. Here's the kicker: 2020, they were ranked 5th, 4th, 9th, 8th last year. In points allowed, uh, in points allowed, okay, in 2016, 31st, but then 2017 jumped to 10, 14, 13, 5, 4, 9, 8. So he has the ability to coach defense and the ability to keep the other team out of the end zone. So you ask, how did you get another head coaching job? I think with a situation like that, with Dennis Allen, he has been a coach in the league before. He's got experience. Let's give him another chance to see how this goes. And he's and I think some franchises like New Orleans like to do that. So look at who the offensive coordinator was last year. It was Pete Carmichael, another guy who's been in the Saints organization for a long time. Now you bring in Clint Kubiak, who was involved in the 49ers passing game. He's passing game coordinator last year. He was also the former Vikings offensive coordinator when Kirk Cousins was there.
But Larry, does that worry you a little bit that you got people coming from the 49ers? I mean, the 49ers are built so well. Kyle Shanahan is responsible for pretty much a lot of that stuff. Does it worry you that you go to a different system and think, oh, we're gonna have a 49ers type defense? Well, no, because you don't have the same personnel.
Absolutely.
You don't have the same personnel, and we got to look to see what Alvin Kamara is going to do. I mean, I think Alvin Kamara being healthy and Alvin Kamara, being on the field is critical for them to have any success. They've got to run the football, Larry. They got to run the damn football, man.
This is Alvin Kamara. I'm betting it. This is Alvin Kamara's last year with New Orleans, because you were looking at the cap situation. The cap situation. They can't afford him and stuff like that. So you're looking at him. Now you got to look into his replacement. You look at the receivers that they have. Like, they're not big time playmakers unless you're talking about Chris Olave, who's had 1,000 yards for the past 2 seasons. That's your lone one. But then other than that, you got Rashid Shaheed, who seems to be making a play every week. Somehow, some way. And then you have A.T. Perry, who flashed a little bit last year from Wake Forest. Other than that, I mean, what are we really working with here?
Well,
Javon, who's good across the middle and in the red zone.
Yeah. Kamara's going to be 29 on July 25th. He's taken a lot of hits. All right, he's had off the field issues. He's had other issues, etc. I personally think that if he can have a big year this year, he'll get another contract. Somebody may overpay for him, but I think his days of being like that top guy could be over if he doesn't have a big year. But I think that they need to feature him. I think that Kamara needs to. That ball needs to touch his hand at least 300 times, whether running or catching or whatnot. Because if he doesn't, then the Saints, to me, just aren't going to have the success that is needed to win this division. And honestly, they should be favorites to win this division. Why not? Why not?
Absolutely, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Got guys in the running back room. I mean, we'll see what you can get out of guys like Jacob Kabodi, who's going into his second year. Jordan Mims, James Robinson, who's a vet.
This is the question I have for you, Larry. Right? If you're looking at the Saints right now, let's say that they start to have some struggles. Let's say that even though Derek Carr, because he always has more touchdowns than he has interceptions, but let's say he's having one of those games where he's throwing duds. He looks like he's getting frustrated, blah, blah, blah. Do you get to a situation where you look at Spencer Rattler? Do you do that? Possibly. And this is another reason why people say preseason doesn't matter. No, sirree. Preseason is critical, especially I think the last couple of years, especially as they condense the games and you have less games. Oh, Spencer Rattler in the preseason, it's critical. We were just speaking on the Raiders' his former team. Their preseason situation is going to be critical between McConnell and Minshew. I mean, we got quarterback battles right now. Even in Dallas, we don't. It's not a quarterback battle, but you're going to want to see a Trey Lance. In Washington, you're going to want to see the backups because who knows what's going to happen with your young quarterback? Is he going to be able to stand pat? Even in what do you call it, Philadelphia. A lot of people don't know this, but their backup now. Who was the Eagles' backup? They had a big time player. Let me look at that. But go ahead, Larry. Give me your thoughts while I find the information. Go ahead.
Yeah, but just like their offensive line is also a concern as well. I mean, you drafted guys like Sincere Haynesworth from Tulane. Eric McCoy seems to be the leader going in on that offensive line. You don't know what you're going to get out of Ryan Ramczyk this year because I don't know if he's going to be starting because he's with the injury that he had. You drafted Trevor Penning like 2 years, so
yeah.
Who knows what you're going to get out of it. And then like the other side of the ball, which since we're highlighting the offense, like you pick up Chase Young. Like, how is that going to look?
See, Larry, I'm disappointed with that. First of all, I don't think he never should have left Washington in the first place, but they had a complicated relationship. I understand it. I get it. Then Chase Young goes to San Francisco. I think they should have recouped him. I think they should have brought him back on another one-year deal. I thought he was very effective in San Francisco. I think that Chase Young could have a really big impact in New Orleans. There's no pressure right now, He's over there with a lot of great defensive players. But what I was saying as well is Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's in Philadelphia. What's going to happen if he comes out in the preseason looking good and Jalen Hurts might come out struggling? So it's a lot of interesting situations, and we'll talk about that as the season goes on. But just sticking back to the Saints, right now, I look at them as a team that should win the NFC South. I look at them as a team who should not take a backseat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And quite frankly, if they don't win this division or if they're not close to winning it, if they don't win 9 or 10 games, honestly, it's a disappointing season. And I think both have got to go because it's the Saints are at a crossroads. I mean, you've been a couple of years now without Sean Payton. You've been a couple of years now without Drew Brees. Where is this franchise going?
Yeah, I like what they done on the secondary and Kool-Aid McKinstry.
I do. Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm with you, man. If they don't make a success out of this, in which the Saints always been kind of like, we talk about teams in the MLB like the Red Sox and like the Cardinals and like the Giants, but the Saints are one of those teams that if you have the right coaching and you have the right quarterback, like they ain't necessarily winning it, but they make something out of it.
Well, my friend, they better do it. They better do it this year because next year their cap hit is $88 million.
Wow.
That's almost $46 million more than the next team, the Cleveland Browns. The next team above that is the San Francisco 49ers with $38 million in the hole. So if you're the Saints, you better get something done this year because some of your veteran players like Alvin Kamara is looking for a deal. I don't think he's getting one because with that type of money right there, the Saints are in trouble. Unless they can manage the cap like the Eagles and the Chiefs can, they're in some trouble, my friend. So,
You know, they been one of those teams that like every season they go in, they always been like cap hell.
Yeah, and I personally don't understand it. I don't get it. And like I said, but Kansas City is just one of those teams for some reason, some godly reason, they go through cap hell pretty much every year. And guess what ends up happening? They win. So I guess teams got to manage better. Yep. Let's go real quick to MLB. Larry, let me give everybody a quick update on Major League Baseball. I'm going to give everybody the scores from today, and then we'll discuss some things. We'll discuss the standings. So we'll start first with the Braves and Phillies. Braves win 6-0. The Red Sox are in the bottom of the 8th for up 2-0 on the Yankees. The Cardinals defeat the Nationals 8-3. The Mets beat the Pirates 3-2. The Marlins beat the White Sox 7-4. The Reds lost to the Tigers 5-1. The Guardians win again, beating the Giants 5-4. Houston loses in Minnesota 3-2. The Cubs finally get a win, beating the Angels 5-0. The Rangers beat the Rays 13-2. The Royals beat the Rockies 10-1. The Baltimore Orioles come back from that shellacking they took from the Athletics yesterday, winning 6-3. The Padres go down to the Diamondbacks, the hot Diamondbacks, 9-1. Right now, the Diamondbacks have won 6 out of their last 10. They're coming, folks. Don't sleep on the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're getting hot. They were in the World Series last year. The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Seattle Mariners 5-4. And the Dodgers go down to the Milwaukee Brewers at home 9-2. Milwaukee, LA Dodger fans, are you panicking? Because you know all the LA Dodger fans panic. They don't know no better. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man, but just go ahead.
It shouldn't panic. Damn, you won 2 out of 1 over the Brewers. So no need.
Because man, you if you look on X and the Twitters and all that stuff, man, it's like I feel like Dodgers fans need to understand this. They've been winning 100 plus games, and where the hell has it gotten them? You know, everybody talks about the Lakers bubble championship. Hell, the Dodgers won a bubble championship. Nobody want to take that from them. You know what I'm saying? So, Larry, give me your prognostication right now, man. Like the Yankees are about to lose this game, and that means they'll be 3 back with Baltimore, and then the Red Sox would be only what 4.5 back?
Yeah.
Of the Yankees. What's going on with the Yankees, man?
Why?
They've lost 3 out of the last 10 games. They've only won 3 games. What's going on with them, man?
Why does it seem like the Yankees and the Knicks are kind of like in that same realm? Because it's like you don't get enough production out of your offense.
Mm-hmm.
Offense produces in spurts, and it's like it's like every other game. Like, why are we always playing from behind?
Couldn't tell you, buddy.
With the Knicks, playing from behind. Now the Baltimore, they're pretty hot, 7-3 and 10, and they could be going away with this. Now I know New York kind of took that away from them earlier in the year, and then Baltimore is coming back for it.
Boston's improving. Boston's improving big time, and that was one of the things I was saying for the season. I wanted to see, even though the Yankees start off hot, I wanted to see what the Yankees were going to do as the season went on. I know people are enamored with Aaron Judge, and I listen. Full disclosure, I'm an Aaron Judge fan. I like him. I think he's a great player. But again, my worry about Aaron Judge is, will he be able to hold up throughout the entirety of the season? I get it. The regular season, he's killing it. He's killing it. But I grew up in the late 80s. I grew up in the late 80s and the 90s. Derek Jeter, and people can call him the captain, Aaron Judge, all they want to. Derek Jeter played great in the regular season, but he did it because that was his job. The postseason was his responsibility. You get what I'm saying? The regular season was his job. The postseason was his responsibility, and he took it as serious as you could take it. And did he always care about the big time numbers? No, he didn't. But when the postseason came, you had to flip. You had this play, that play. Mario Rivera. When the postseason came, it was his responsibility. So we got to see that from the Yankees, because the AL is not going to be easy this year. You already got a Mariners team who should scare everybody. You have a Royals team that they should scare everybody. This is a different Guardians team. This is a different Cleveland Guardians team who I think can make some noise. And again, it's those Houston Astros. If they find a way to get in, you as well as I know, either them or Texas, either one of them decide to get into the playoffs, you know what's about to happen.
Cleveland, I believe, has the best home record in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually they do.
Yeah, they do. And you look at Ramirez, 23 home runs. He's got 76 RBIs. He's got to be really considered. He's got to be getting consideration for the MVP of the AL right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stephen Kwan out there playing great ball too. But we talked about this before with Cleveland. Like they're another one of those regular season teams where they can steamroll, and you're looking at one of these teams like, could they open up in October? And then when October gets here, it's like, damn, what
Yeah.
happened?
I gotta ask you this, and I gotta go to the NL Central. What the hell is going on with the Cubs? What the hell is going on with the Cubs? Like, this was supposed to be their season to get things together. They're 42-49.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on with Chicago?
Yeah.
And then the Reds are 42-48. Listen, man, before you speak on the Cubs and the Reds, I just need the Red fans to understand. You're going to lose L.A. De La Cruz. He signed a horrible contract, so he's going to be there, I think, for at least 4 or 5 years. You're going to lose him. You better get some talent in there, and you better make sure that he is taken care of, and you better make sure that you guys start winning. Because if you waste L.A. De La Cruz,
just like they wasted Joey.
Just like they wasted Joey. Oh, my God. Joey Votto deserved way more. Not only that, we can go back to Ken Griffey Jr., but that was his dumb decision to go, I want to go home. For what? I mean, I get it. You get paid. I get it. But, man, it's like whenever Cincinnati, I feel like it's the curse of Pete Rose. I feel like it's the curse of Pete Rose in a sense.
Let him game already.
Yes. Why not? Good God, man.
We got president.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We got felons trying to get elected for president. I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and potential criminals who potentially traded with China, who are sitting in the office now. So, like, what are we doing?
Literally, two things. Remember a couple weeks ago when this NL wildcard situation was like half a game. Another team was like a few teams like a game back. A couple teams is back. Now you look at this, and now you look at Arizona and the Mets 2 games back. You got the Giants 3.5. It's like it's starting to separate now.
Yeah. And let me ask you before we go to the next topic, who's more dangerous in your opinion right now, the Diamondbacks or Mets? I feel that the Mets could be dangerous, but if I'm being all the way just with my opinion, and I'm giving you just what I feel on a gut feeling, something about the Diamondbacks that would scare me to death. If I was in the NL and I was a top seed and I had to go against that Diamondbacks team who just went to the World Series last year, and you got to deal with Corbin and the crew, I don't know, man. I don't, because I think the Mets will Mets. I think the Mets will be the Mets, even though they've played better ball this year, even though they've got some MVP candidates on their team. I really feel that the Diamondbacks are the most dangerous team if they get in, man. Them along with the Braves, and not just because the Braves are my team, but the Braves have been on everybody's radar for the last 2 or 3 years. Every time you look, Larry, they got the best record here. They got home field here. This year, we know the Phillies going to win that division. So the Braves go from the hunted to the hunters. And I think sometimes in baseball, especially in this era, home field doesn't really matter that much anymore. It just doesn't feel like, you remember back in the 90s when we had the old, I'm talking about, for the people out there don't know, the old Yankee Stadium, that was a home field advantage. This new Yankee Stadium, there ain't no home field advantage to that crap. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't feel like there's a lot of home field advantages today.
Yeah, I would go with the Mets. Since you're going with the Diamondbacks, I will go with the Mets. But I see why you're going with the Diamondbacks because of last year. And last year did what they World Series. Also, thing before we move on, remember when the Astros were like were almost double digits back in the AL West? Look at them now. 2 games. You want to talk about Seattle? Seattle's in they're about to be in a situation where they losing out on that crown.
Hey, look, man, I'm gonna say this before we move on, right? They're gonna have to do a 30 for 30 one day on Cleveland and Seattle, because I don't know what's going on with those franchises. You had Randy Johnson, you had Ken Griffey Jr., you had Ichiro. You had a whole host of great players. You won over 100 games, most in years. I can't remember how many games they won in '01.
It was like
But they
1-4-16.
it was like 112. It was a crazy number, and they did not make the World Series.
No,
The Cleveland Indians at the time in the '90s, they had Manny Ramirez. They had one of the dopest lineups you could ever think of, and they didn't win the World Series. I mean, think about that. The Marlins beat that Indians team and that Yankees team in a 5-year span. You know how crazy that is to even think about that? If you go back and look at history, that Marlins team beat that Indians team and they beat that Yankees team.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's when home field. That Florida, that old Florida Marlins home field, the old baseball stadiums. But I can tell you one stadium I think that still can give that home field advantage, and that is in Boston. That's definitely in Boston, I think, for sure. Let's move on to the next topic. Larry, people are gonna look at me like I'm crazy when we do these topics. Look, we're gonna go 10 through 1. Our top 10 college football teams. I'll let you start. Give us your number 10. People are gonna think I'm crazy, man.
So my number 10 college football team, and that is the Florida State Seminoles.
Are you ready for?
Mike
Are you ready for
the offseason pretty pissed?
Yeah.
So lost at a lot of talent. Jordan Travis, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson.
They got DJ though.
Yeah, they got DJ Ogalele, or however you say his last name.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got a microscope on himself as well. You know, how would he do in his third system? Went from Clemson to Oregon State, and now you at Florida State to finish it off. So,
yeah. Well, Larry, you gotta put something into consideration here, my friend. Revenge factor, total revenge factor. When you talk about DJ going back to the ACC, so all right, you ready for my number 10? Don't look at me like I'm crazy. I got Virginia Tech number 10. Yeah, I got Virginia Tech. And people will say, aren't you a Miami Hurricanes fan? Doesn't matter, man. Look, bro, their schedule. Have you looked over their schedule? It is pathetic. And I feel like that this team is, listen, I think they got Vanderbilt the first game. They got some other, whatever games. Their biggest game is against Miami. And then they got Clemson, I believe, on a Thursday night. You imagine if Clemson comes in there, Virginia Tech is undefeated in Blacksburg on a Thursday night. It is going to be sickening. So to me, Kyron Drones he's a dynamic quarterback. They got a lot of different players coming back. They have some strengths. I don't know, man. I just think that Virginia Tech is going to shock some people this year. I just really think they're going to shock some people. Who's your number 9? Yep, go ahead.
I mean, going down to the schedule, like the end of it, Tech, Syracuse, Clemson, Duke, UVA,
and Duke's going back to the Stone Ages this year.
Yeah,
Duke. Now, don't get me wrong. Duke's quarterback is dynamic as hell. But they might be going back to Stone Ages a little bit this year. And if you look at the beginning of their schedule, man, it's not that daunting. Until they get to Miami, it is not that daunting of a schedule.
Vanderbilt, Marshall, ODU, Rutgers, Miami, Stanford, Boston College.
Yeah. But I will say this though. Rutgers might be a little bit of a problem. I wouldn't sleep on Rutgers, but I think Rutgers is going to be a little bit of a problem. So I'm just saying we gotta, I don't want to make the schedule like it's too easy, but if Tech is what I think they are, then I think they should shock some people. Who's your number 9?
Number 9, this is another team that lost quite a few players, Missouri. Brady Cook and Luther Burden. I look for them to have a good connection this year. They lost the pass rusher in the first round. Who did he go to? What doesn't matter. But they lost him, and we'll see how they do. But I look at Brady Cook. I think he's about to have a good season this year.
I got Florida State number 9. Regardless of who they bringing back, Mike Norvell is going to be focused. He's going to be ready after what happened against Georgia. Nothing else really needs to be said. Number 8, who you got?
Number 8, I got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
We got the same. We got the same team.
You left me hanging. Okay. But Marcus Freeman going into his 3rd season, and then you get Riley Leonard. So
He's
Leonard,
legit.
Little bit of success, and then you come and you go into a new system. This is the 2nd straight year that Notre Dame has gotten an ACC quarterback. I don't know what it is, but we'll see what happens. Also, how can the defense replace players like Maris Leofow, who you should know? He's with the Cowboys. Cam and JD Bertrand. So that's a question to answer right there.
Yeah, and you get offensive coordinator Mike, like you said, Mike Denbrock, who's coming over, So we'll see how it goes. He was the offensive coordinator at LSU. And like I said, Riley Leonard, he just has to stay healthy. If Riley Leonard can stay healthy, then, yep. Who's your number 7?
Number 7, Alabama.
Ooh. Oh, can I say something real quick before you even go? I'm just going to put a tease. I don't have Alabama in my top 10.
Oh, man, I thought you did.
Hey, the last time I seen Alabama without Nick Saban, they were losing to, like, Southern Mississippians. Like they listen, until Alabama can prove to me that they can play and win games without Nick Saban, because before Nick Saban, they weren't winning national championship. I believe their last national championship was like 92 when they beat Miami or something like that in New Orleans. So they got a 16 years of history that they gotta, yeah.
They lost quite a few players, including the safety to Ohio State. But one thing I will give them, they just had a head coach come off of a national championship
where he got his ass whooped. Where he got his ass whooped. And this ain't this ain't Seattle, Washington, son. This is Alabama. This is Alabama, which means this. When you come down to Alabama, SEC football is your life. There ain't no Starbucks. There ain't no drive-thrus. You eating soul food and you eating football 24/7. That's a big-time cultural adjustment. And Nick Saban is gone. You ain't Nick Saban.
And it's hot as hell around this time of the year there.
You know what we just did? Hey, look, you know what that reminded me of? You remember when Fresh Prince and Carlson had that, when they had Steve Urkel, and they were like, it's bat night. We just did that. All right, so my number 7, I got Michigan, right? Michigan, to me, they're still going to be a really good team. I don't know if they're going to be the same team. They got to make sure the quarterback situation gets situated. You got Colston Loveland, who returns as a tight end. I think he'll be really good. We got to see how the defense. The defense is basically like this. You got to play tough defense, and you got to run the football. That's Michigan football. It's not slinging it all over the yard. So, who's your number 6, Larry?
The Michigan Wolverines.
Shit.
I think that Edwards is still going to be good in this run game.
Okay.
And what is the head coach, Sharon? The head coach now is Sharon Moore, the guy who, man, we did it, man. We can do it, man. He gave me an opportunity.
Don't remind me of this. Don't remind me of this.
And now the question is, who's the quarterback going to be?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
At number 6, I got Penn State. They landed Julian Fleming to bolster their wide receiver unit. They got dynamic backfield and Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. Because at Penn State, that's all they do is run the ball and just run their running backs to the ground. That's why I don't understand why the Giants picked Saquon Barkley number 2, knowing this. I mean, the history. Stupid. But anyway, I got Penn State number 6. So you got number 5. Oh, my number 5 is gonna really shock you. You're gonna look like I'm really crazy for real, for real.
Number 5, I got Ole Miss.
I don't have Ole Miss in my top 10.
Wow.
You know why I don't? You know why I don't have Ole Miss in my top 10? Because I do not trust him. You know who him is. I don't even got to say his name.
The man who was one of the winners in the transfer portal this year.
Did he win that championship last year?
Oh,
did he win one? Did he win one in the year before?
Oh, hell no.
Doesn't he choke every year? Doesn't he always lose a game that you least expect him to lose? Doesn't he always lose a game like 64 to 60, 66? You talking about? Are we talking about the same guy who continues to be a complete ass? Oh my God! Listen, Nick Saban's gone now, buddy. You got free reign. You know what's gonna? You know what you're gonna do now? You'll probably get to the SEC championship game, and you'll probably get demolished by 28. Or you might You might even only lose 2 or 3 games, and you may celebrate. Go ahead, man.
But I feel like with those 64, 66, 61 games that you just said, Jackson Dart is going to be on the top of that. So
I'm trying to remember. He was the offensive coordinator for USC when they had that dynamic offense. But look, then he became the head coach. He won a lot of national championships, didn't he? Wait a minute. Oh, that's right. I forgot. What did he coach in Tennessee too? The powerful Volunteers. He got them champion. Wait. Lane Kiffin didn't win a national championship yet? You serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's the Derek Carr of the college football. He just keeps getting chances for some odd reason. Not my number 5 team, the Utah Utes.
Wait till you get the NFL opportunity. You're really gonna go off.
Just ask Jamarcus Russell how that worked out, okay? Anyway, the Utah Utes at number 5. Basically, it's like this. Cam Rising is back from injury. He has to stay healthy. The Utah Utes won all those games last year. They were 8-9 games last year plus, and their whole roster was injured like they were the 2008-2009 Packers, or like the 2010 Packers when they went to the Super Bowl. I believe it was the year they went. Yo, man, Utah is one of those teams you got to watch out for. Like I said, Cam Rising is back. The team is going to be dangerous. The defense is always tough. When you got to go play the Utes in Utah, it's always a hell of a fight. So that's, I'm mixing things up, man. So I got Utah number 5. I think you may have number 4 the same. Who you got number 4?
Dylan Gabriel is about to be the next great Oregon quarterback.
Okay.
Book it.
Gotcha. I got Texas number 4. I got Texas at number 4. So I can already guess who you have at number 3.
Texas.
Of course you got Texas at number. Of course you got Texas. Man, Texas coming off losing last year to Washington. Quinn Ewers, I think that he's majorly overrated. I think by them going to SEC, some people are going to say, oh, it's Texas. They're not going to do anything. I think they're about to make life. I think they're going to make life hell for some teams. And I can't remember the date, but I believe Georgia has to go to Texas. You know how big that game is going to be.
Yo, they got a stacked schedule.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what's even better about Texas going to the SEC? You know what's even better, right? We get those A&M games again. Because to me, in a sense, college football died when Colorado didn't play Nebraska anymore, which we're going to probably get back hopefully soon, and Texas didn't play Texas A&M anymore. It kind of killed the vibe of college football, man. Those teams got to play. They got to play.
Yeah,
I'll give it to Texas, man.
When they break those rivalries up like that, like it's so heartbreaking because it's like something that you're so used to. I wanna go over their schedule real quick.
Do that. Do your thing, sir.
Texas. I want to go over their schedule real quick and so they play Colorado State first game.
Colorado State's not gonna be a pushover either.
They're not. And then you got Michigan.
Where?
You got Michigan at Michigan. It's probably at a neutral site though.
See that, but before you finish, Larry, I'm hoping pray college football don't start doing college basketball doesn't have these neutral site games. Put them at the home stadiums, man. I don't want to see no damn neutral site games in the regular season. It's like college basketball. Go ahead, man.
I agree. Then they got UTSA.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got UL Monroe. So then they got Mississippi State, Oklahoma.
That's a rivalry, by the way. That's a huge rivalry that Mississippi State. A lot of people don't know about. They got a crazy rivalry.
Then Oklahoma. Then this is where it gets really spicy. Oklahoma, Georgia.
So let me get this straight. They gave them Oklahoma and Georgia back to back. Usually you would get a Kansas after that, and you could get a break.
Yeah, and then you play Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have Georgia at home.
Yeah, who they got? What's the rest of the schedule though? I want to hear the rest of the schedule.
At Vanderbilt versus Florida, at Arkansas versus Kentucky, and at Texas A&M. So it's not that difficult of a schedule going in.
Yeah, but think about that though. But you know something? I think that Vanderbilt actually has a winning record against Texas for some reason. I think I read that a long time ago. Maybe I'm wrong. But here's the thing. You play Oklahoma, you play Georgia. You got to go to A&M at the end of the season. I don't care if A&M ain't good or A&M ain't good at the end of the season. Going to that hellhole, and that's what it is. It's a hellhole. And don't be misconstrued by this. What that Texas A&M coach did by going to Texas, they just made that rivalry even crazier. The rivalry was already heated. It's just brutal now.
Yeah, and it's because they played each other in a while, right?
Oh, it has to. I think the last time, Larry, honest, if I can remember, it was about 12 to 14 years ago, and it was remember because they do the Thanksgiving games, and for us to get that game back, I think is just something that a lot of people around the country, if they don't understand college football, they don't understand what these rivalries really mean, but that game. Yeah. Who's number 3, man?
Texas.
Okay, that's right. I didn't even ask what mine was. I got Oregon, and all the reasons you said. Oregon is going to have a dynamic offense. That coaching staff is just absolutely great. They showed what they could do last year, and if it had not been for the magic of one Michael Penix Jr. and those receivers, we could have been talking about Oregon as national championships easily. Because I don't think Georgia's stopping that Oregon offense with Bo Nix and the crew last year, Franklin and all. Man, please. Michigan has a great defense, but man, that Oregon offense was just different. I just think that Washington was just beat down by the time they got to the national championship game. Honest to God, Oregon's dangerous, man. Oregon is not flashy no more either. They are physical.
Yeah, and then you add a quarterback like Dylan Gabriel, who's been playing at this level for some years, to get another opportunity at Oregon.
They're scary, man. They're scary. They are scary. Now, who's number? I think our number 1 and 2 are pretty obvious. Who's your 2?
2, Ohio State.
They're good. They're good. Oh my God, they're good.
It's a Mecca Buka. I guess I hope I'm saying it right. It's his time now. It's his time now, mind you. Now look at all the Ohio State wide receivers that have came out in the last recent years from what's my Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had Chris Olave, a couple of other guys, and now he could be another one. Also, you grab the former Kansas State quarterback, Will Howard. We'll see how he does in that offense, and then you bring guys back like Travion Henderson.
Not only that, but you bring in Quinshawn Jukins, 1,400-yard rusher from Ole Miss, All-American safety Caleb Downs from Alabama. See the Nick Saban effect. That's not happening. Nick Saban's still there. The Buckeyes phenom Jeremiah Smith. He's a phenom. They're saying that he's a phenom freshman wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith. is one of the best wide receivers in the room as a freshman. And they already got pass catchers. Ohio State is scary, man. Ohio State might be beating people down this year. Like we haven't seen teams get beat down in a while. I'm not saying they're going to blow everybody out. I'm just saying they're very good. But as good as Ohio State is, they ain't as good as the number one team, I think we both about to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia Bulldogs. When you look at Georgia, when they say that Carson Beck is the best prospect since Matthew Stafford, they're not joking. And I'm reading right here, and this is what it says. This is how bad it is going to be for a lot of teams this year. They say it's a downright unfair cast of skill and offensive line talent for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs landed Florida running back Trevor Etienne, whose brother plays in the NFL.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt wide receiver Will Shepherd. Miami wide receiver Kobe Young. Watch that name, Kobe Young. How Miami let him get away, I do not know. But Kobe Young is the truth. Stanford tight end Benjamin Uzek, and he was a transfer in the portal. They're saying defensively they may not be as great as they were in 21 and 22, but they're still going to be as dominant. To me, Larry, Georgia's the best team in the country, and I'm not going to say it ain't close, but man, it's yeah.
Their schedule helps them out a little bit. They start with Clemson,
like it did last year.
Yeah.
Jesus, man, that schedule last year was straight up disrespectful about how easy it was.
And then the second game, you face Tennessee Tech. Then you face Kentucky, Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, Texas, Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee. That's going to be something to watch with that quarterback they got over at Tennessee.
Hey, Lamaleva.
And then you face
hey, Nico Lamaleva, man, he the truth. I was watching him when he was in high school. I'm like, yo, this dude is gonna be the truth, man. So yeah. Well, let's get to our next topic as we are going on here in the show. Let's talk about the Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Which team has the advantage right now, Larry? Which team do you feel right now is a better team as constituted today?
I'm going to be a little bit of a homer. I'm going to say the Knicks. And I know a lot of people have been sitting here saying the Sixers. I don't know what it is. Like, people just love to just root against the Knicks. I mean, that's cool. But when you pick up a wing defender in Mikal Bridges, like, have you seen the things that this guy can do on both ends of the floor?
Yeah.
And you're able to sign back OG Anunoby. I know the injuries happen, but did you see the record with him on the floor versus with the Knicks?
Yeah.
And I know we lost Isaiah Hartenstein. We lost the energy. We lost that physical tenacity. I know we lost that. Now we got to replace it. But I can't overlook what Philly did as well. Yes, you signed Paul George. You really signed Paul George. But then you get guys like my man from Miami. Was one of the twins. I'm blanking on his last name right now. Caleb.
Yeah, you go ahead. I got you. I'll get it. Go ahead. I got you.
Yeah. One of the twins who could be a good offensive player somewhat. They got him as a role player. And you know why you get him? You grab those guys in free agency because the role players play well at home.
You're talking about Caleb Martin.
And you know about him with the finals performance that he had, the Eastern Conference finals performance that he had a couple years ago. Those role players, they matter going down the stretch, especially at home playoff games.
You know what's funny though? They got Eric Gordon. It seems like every time Eric Gordon goes hey, I'm not bragging on Eric Gordon. I was gonna say something negative. I mean, because he went to the Clippers, he played for the Clippers, he played for the Rockets all those years, and he played with the Phoenix Suns. Well, I just feel like every time Eric Gordon goes somewhere, the team ends up choking or losing in the worst possible situation. And I have a feeling that's going to happen too this year. Because, look, Larry, listen, man, I know everybody's enamored with the 76ers and Joel Embiid. It's never his fault. It ain't my fault. Did I do that? It ain't my fault. Did I do that? Oh, yeah, it is your fault, man. Because every time I look, it's somebody else's fault. You want to blame everybody. It's Ben Simmons' fault. It's this guy, that guy. I'm just waiting for Joel Embiid to blame Paul George. Okay. You look at Daryl Morey. You look at his history in Houston. Oh, by the way, just like I was asking you about Lane Kiffin, man, that Daryl Morey, man. You see all them championships he won? Wait. Hold on for a second. Hello? Who is this? Oh, okay. Daryl Morey. Hey, man. Hey, did how much did your NBA Finals ring cost? Oh, sorry. He said he never won one. He's overrated. You look at Houston, you see what's going on with Houston? That's what's going to happen to the 76ers. I feel like the Bridges signing was a lot better than Paul George. Not only because Bridges is younger, but we know that Paul George cannot stay healthy. We know that Joel Embiid cannot stay healthy. It is not about the names, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's so enamored with the names. No, the Knicks are building depth. And while the 76ers are just getting older. They're getting older. They're getting a little bit slower. We don't know what Paul George is going to look like. Are we just assuming that Paul George is going to come back to the East and he's going to do what he did with Indiana? No, we can't assume these things. Right. Paul George, he played really well in the Western Conference Finals last year, right? Oh, make a call real quick. Hey, Paul George, how was the Western Conference Finals? Oh, you didn't get there. You lost in the first round? Oh, okay, cool. Because without Kawhi Leonard, who the hell is he?
You should have called Steve Ballmer.
Oh, let me give him a call, too.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, you open a new arena, right? You didn't want to pay for Paul George? Okay, I got you. Anyway, look, this is my point. The New York Knicks got to 7 games against a really good Indiana Pacers team who should have beaten the Boston Celtics at least 1 or 2 times in that series, right? So I'm looking at the Knicks. You know how many players they lost? You know how many players they didn't have? They didn't barely have a center. Jalen Brunson broke his hand in the game 7, but yet they still got to a game 7. They beat Philly. And Philly had got healthy. Joel Embiid scored a 50-piece in that series, and they still beat him. They still took him down. So, in my opinion, the Knicks got more heart. Jalen Brunson's got a lot to prove. So, I'm going to Knicks. Because listen, how many more times can we make excuses for Joel Embiid? I mean, can you imagine if people gave Joel Embiid the same criticism they gave a Dak Prescott? Because basically, that's who he is. But nobody want to say it because he's a nice guy and, you know, he loves the media and he's so cool and he's Joel Embiid. But what the hell has he won? In fact, his best teams was when he had Ben Simmons. Isn't that kind of scary? And
yeah.
then they lose to Trae Young and the Hawks. The Hawks. Who everybody dogs.
Damn.
Just saying, man, the facts are the facts. They've had opportunities. They've been number 1 seeds. They can't stay healthy. Whether it's Joel Embiid's stomach hurting, his head hurting, he can't stay healthy, man. He can't stay healthy. And he's 30 now. What is going to change? I continuously say this. Trade Joel Embiid and get his value now before he's broken down and you can't get anything back. So, to me, you just got a bunch of broken down Philadelphia 76ers. I would have gone younger. What was it, 4 years, $212 million? He's going to be 38 when their contract ends.
Yeah. They're 38 and hurting.
Yeah. And then Maxey, eventually they're going to blame him too. They're going to say, oh, he's in the way. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. Joel Embiid always blames somebody else. One thing about Patrick Ewing, I will say, Patrick Ewing just went out there and balled, and he never had nearly the cast of characters ever that Joel Embiid had. The type of player that Joel Embiid has had compared to what Patrick Ewing did, taking that team to NBA Finals, I don't want to hear nobody compare Patrick Ewing to Joel Embiid. I don't care what Joel Embiid's numbers are. And you as a Knicks fan can freaking tell me and tell everybody else just how much disrespected Patrick Ewing is all time.
I think Charles Oakley will kind of disagree with you on that. But I think Joel.
In what way?
In leadership.
Bro, listen, I get it about the leadership part. Leadership is very important. But go look back at those Knicks rosters compared to the rosters of the 76ers.
But doesn't that kind of fall Joel Embiid too, especially like with the leadership category?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's the other part. I don't look at him as a leader. I look at him as a guy who he just gets, oh man, do you remember when James Harden came over and they were just the best buddies in the world?
Yeah.
And everything was good. And then all of a sudden, James Harden, got mad justly because Daryl Morey lied to him. And then Joel Embiid, I think we'd be a better team now because James Harden gone. I don't need James Harden no more. Blah blah. And you still lost in the playoffs, sobbing and doing all this other stuff. So the story is the same. The Knicks only continue to get better. They lost to the Heat 2 years ago in the second round. They lost in 7 games. So now, if you bring back a healthy Knicks team, which I think they will be, and you can keep Julius Randle upright and keep the rest of the guys upright, who's gonna the Knicks? There's no reason they shouldn't be in the Eastern Conference Finals next year.
I feel like, in order to make a trip there, we got to get some link too, because Mitchell Robinson gets a little hurt too much. So
I'll give you that. Mitchell Robinson does get hurt. But for me, Larry, this whole situation right now, when you have Jalen Brunson and you have Halliburton appearing on wrestling and everything like that, I think that just spices this thing up because people are eating it up, man. People are eating that up.
Say
it again. You went out there. Say it again.
NBA on NBC.
Oh my goodness. Listen, make sure we get Bob Costas. All right, folks, let's get to our next topic here as we are approaching the 10 o'clock hour here. Well, wow. People are going to look at us like we done lost our minds, but we're going to ask this question today. Zach Wilson versus Bo Nix. Who has the chance to be Sean Payton's next Drew Brees? Larry, I'm going to give this one to you first, sir. Don't tell me the Yankees came back.
Hell no, they lost.
Oh, shit. Go ahead, though, man. Tell me who has the possibility of being next Drew Brees, and I'll hit you with some very daunting numbers that really should give Broncos fans some hope.
I don't know about next Drew Brees, but Sean Payton, and I like to give credit where credit is due because Drew Brees was not playing at the level that he was playing at San Diego before he got over to New Orleans.
However, he did have 80 touchdowns and 53 interceptions at his time. He was 38, he was 30 and 28. So the talent was there. But you know what the problem is? Listen, you can give me that Humpty Dumpty look all you want to, and you can crash and you can break your shell, and I don't care. looking like Bill Cosby over there back in 1982. Hell wrong with you, man. Looking like Donatello. Give me that Ninja Turtle look. But look, for real though, honestly, do you know something that all this correlates with each other? Do you know why? You think about Bo Nix, right? He was at Auburn. He struggled. He was miserable there. He wanted to get out of Auburn so bad. In fact, when he was at Auburn, he only had 39 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He was 20-13. You know what he was when he went to Oregon? 113 touchdowns to 26 interceptions. All right. Yeah. It's that serious. It was just that crazy. You look at a guy like Zach Wilson, right? What was his record in New York? 12-21. 23 touchdowns, 25 interceptions. Why is that important? Both guys were not in the right situation. I said it from the jump. Zach Wilson never should have gone to New York. It was the worst place he could ever go. People think, oh, look at Zach Wilson. He looks smart. He went to BYU. He could go to New York, be focused. No. Zach Wilson is a male. I don't want to say the word, but he's married now, so good for him. He's calmed down a little bit. Good for him. But New York was the worst place for him to go. You think about Drew Brees. He went to Purdue. He went to San Diego. Then he went to the New Orleans Saints. What was the common denominator? Sean Payton. But what was the other common denominator? Check this out, Larry. How many Super Bowl appearances did the Chargers have in their existence?
One.
1995. How many appearances did the New York Jets have in the Super Bowl over their existence?
One.
1969. How many Super Bowl appearances did the New Orleans Saints have through their existence?
One.
So
Hey, they could have had another. But
hey, listen. The Saints had a 13-0 lead. They had a 13-0 lead. That's their fault. That's Sean Payton's fault. That's their fault. When you got a 13-0 lead and then you throw a pick in overtime, that's your fault. Basically, what I'm saying is we always talk about franchises like the Cowboys, the Lakers, and they haven't won a championship in this long, blah, blah, blah. The Chargers are starving for a championship. The Jets haven't been in the Super Bowl since 1969 with an underwhelming quarterback who somehow made the Hall of Fame. Okay, who they still celebrate to this day with denture commercials and pill commercials. So he hangs on more than Ric Flair does. Good God. Anyway, my point is, Larry, is these franchises that I'm talking about are cursed. And what's the common denominator? Sean Payton. He goes to New Orleans. He brings them a Super Bowl. You have Zach Wilson. Oh, my God. He's with the Jets. He sucks. Who does he have now? He has Sean Payton. Where was Drew Brees at? San Diego. Oh, my God. He can't win anything. He's too short. He goes to New Orleans. What happens? He has over 500 touchdowns. 500 touchdowns. So this is my point. If anybody, even though he slipped a little bit, if anybody can make these quarterbacks, the next great thing or revive somebody, it's Sean Payton. Because if you can't get revived here, your career is over, buddy. It's over. Especially if you're Zach Wilson, your career is over.
Not only the Drew Brees stat that you just named, but when Drew Brees went out for injury and Teddy Bridgewater took over and went 5-0 during this stretch, he was playing some of the efficient ball at the time. It wasn't all over. And then Jameis Winston. You know how much of a turnover machine he was? When he got over to New Orleans, he had one of his best quarterback passing ratings that he ever had in his career under Sean Payton. Yeah. But just happened he had got injured. So who imagine what the rest of the season would have looked like under a coach like Sean Payton? So then you have Russ coming in. Now, Russ had a bad 2022 season.
Hold on. Before you go any further with that, your coach that year is responsible only for Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers made him. Without Aaron Rodgers, that coach, who I will not identify, is nothing. His offense last year was trash. So I will give you credit on this. Russell Wilson looked bad, but then Sean Payton made him look good again. Let's be honest.
Sean Payton made him look good again. Thank you, Rob. My point. Sean Payton made him look good again.
But what happens in that playoff appearance?
What playoff appearance?
That's my point. The Broncos should have made the playoffs this past year.
1 year. It was 1 year.
I don't care. Let me tell you something. This Sean Payton is responsible. Hold on. Sean Payton is responsible for Kirk Cousins winning a playoff game. He done got that man paid. Sean Payton is responsible for Kirk Cousins getting paid like $500 million over these last, I don't know how, 5 or 6 years. He's responsible for this.
Sean Payton don't coach defense though.
I don't want. Oh, he don't coach defense now. Oh, he the head coach, but he ain't responsible, right? Oh, all of a sudden, Sean Payton ain't responsible. I mean, listen, the Broncos did give up 70. I mean, hey, listen, it's like the Cowboys, right? The Commanders thought it was a great idea to hire the coach who just gave up a big gazillion points to the Green Bay Packers. Sometimes people make stupid decisions, but hey, God bless.
After that 70 burger got put on them, you started seeing the team start playing better. This team was in contention of playoff. This team didn't even smell the playoffs. They wouldn't even but every season before Peyton got there, Broncos were out of playoff contention by week 10. We were already thinking about the next season in week 10. So after week 10, we're in somewhat in playoff contention. Oh, we got a chance at the playoffs? Oh wow, we haven't
Hey,
seen
listen,
this.
man. I think ownership was trying to get Russ out of there, so they wanted to pay him. So I just think, because your new ownership group's getting sued for lying to the customers about the prices. Just like they lied to us about how much they love Russell Wilson. You don't love Russ. You don't love dangerous Russ. You love yourself, Walmart. I don't even shop there anymore. Walmart. I don't shop there anymore. I'm talking about rolling back prices. Y'all ain't rolling back nothing.
Yeah.
Get it together. But anyway, if you had to choose, getting back to the question at hand, if you had to choose one between Bo Nix and Zachariah, get them draws, Wilson, who you choose?
Right
Zachariah, hey, look, I'm gonna copyright that. Zachariah, get them draws, Wilson.
Right now, I'm gonna say Zach Wilson. I'm gonna say Zach.
Bo Nix.
I'm gonna say Zach Wilson.
Okay, so far, have you seen the training camp highlights? Who have you seen anything from the mini camps? Who looks better? Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's nobody like really jumping out ahead of anybody. It's kind of neutral. So, I mean, once training camp
neutral,
yeah. So once
what?
Here and once they start, having joint practices and playing preseason games, we'll actually see what happens. But hey.
What the hell is a bad? Was this a bad 1998 Honda with a bad transmission? What the hell you mean it's neutral? you better get out and push that motherfucker.
But nobody's.
That's not good, is it, Larry?
It's not. It's not. But you know how things can look bad in the off season, but then things turn around. And by the time the regular season gets here, it's like, oh, we didn't see this coming.
Hey, look, I get told every year that there's talent on the board, and next thing I know, losing in divisional round or whatever. So anyway, we don't get into them tonight. Anyway, next topic, folks. This is something I've been waiting for all day. Michael and Hakeem versus Victor Wembanyama and Kobe Bryant. As you see, I got everybody looking young there. I got young Kobe, number 8. I ain't got 24. I was a fan of number 8 Kobe, not number 24, but number 8 Kobe. I think number 24 was a clone. Anyway, like they somehow Gucci Man was a clone. Maybe Kobe 24 was a clone. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, that's the Kobe who dated Brandy right there. That's the real Kobe. Who you got, Larry? Who wins in a 2-on-2 matchup to 21? Deuce.
I got Michael and Hakeem Olajuwon. I think Hakeem Olajuwon, with his post moves and the footwork, I think he would dance circles around Wemby. And he will also give Wemby those little lessons too. He'll give him those little lessons while he's doing them. And with Kobe, with his defensive prowess that he established later on, I think that him and Mike will be a popcorn-worthy matchup to be looking. It's a popcorn-worthy matchup for both matchups, but I just feel like Hakeem would just tear Wemby up.
Do you think if the Lakers had played the Bulls, I think it was 98 when the Utah swept them, do you think the Lakers would have given the Bulls a run for their money in 98, or do you think that the Bulls would have won that series?
You said the Lakers got swept, right?
They got swept by Utah. Remember Utah? I believe Utah beat because the Utah swept the Lakers and the Bulls were in a dog fight against the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, so there wouldn't be any. There's no need to even go in. They got swept. I can see if the Lakers won. I can see if the Lakers lost in Game 7 or Game 6, but I mean they got swept. So that tells the story right there.
I got you. So the year before, I believe it was when Charles Barkley had he never joined a super team, but he joined the Houston Rockets. Even though they're a little older, they're still a super team. Do you think that Rockets team who lost, I believe it was in Game 6 of Utah, do you think they could have given the Bulls a run for their money?
Could have. feel like they
But you
could.
know, but you know, every time Michael saw Clyde Drexler, he kind of lost his mind. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going Wemby and Kobe. Just
You're
because
going,
you said I'm going Wemby and Kobe. I think Wemby's gonna be out there. Even though I'm one of the biggest Hakeem Olajuwon fans out there, I think Wemby be out there. Take that. Go over there.
yeah.
I believe Kobe would throwing lobs, lobs, to the high heavens, stuff like that.
I feel like Wimby would get his punches in too, especially with the blocking and the alley hoops and just the length that he has. I feel like he would talk his shit too, but I feel like with the dream, man, with that footwork and just those post moves, I don't know, man. I'm gonna
Yo,
go.
I,
Go ahead.
I can see in the fantasy situation, Mike coming, wanted to be doing too much against Wemby, trying to show him up, trying to dunk on him. I can see him now. I could be like Mike. Get down the court. He go up, boom, he blocked him to the floor. Take that little punk. And Kobe come over. You just got knocked the fuck out. Yeah, that's what would happen. That's exactly how it would happen. But no. In all seriousness, I'm taking Michael and Hakeem. There ain't no way in hell. Like Michael in his prime and Hakeem in the prime against those guys, I think it would be close. But I think that Hakeem and Michael would get it because, look, man, Hakeem Olajuwon is one of the most underrated players we've ever seen in the National Basketball Association. He's done so much. He was great in college. He was great coming into the pros. So I just think Hakeem, yeah.
What is your prediction on how Wemby would look, say 5 years from now?
I think in the next 5 years he wins the MVP, no doubt about it. And now you look at listen, what San Antonio and Sacramento pulled off last night by the Bulls getting 2 seconds. Oh God. The Bulls.
Tell the world how you feel.
I really want to end this show right now. The Bulls got 2 second-round picks, and the Spurs not only got Chris Paul, which he is on the downside of his career. We get that. But he's not going to have to do much. All he's going to do is like, hey, Wemby, here you go, buddy. Boom. Hey, Wemby, here you go, buddy. Boom. They got Harrison Barnes, who's not great, but he's a great utility player. He can do some things on the court. He can play some defense. He can hit some clutch shots.
He'll give you 30 somewhat.
Yeah, I think that that's going to help Wembanyama's development. I got him winning MVP in the next 5 years, and what is he only like 19, 20? In 15 years, I have him winning at least 3 titles. I think he's that legit. Yeah, I think in the next 15 years he's going to win at least 3 titles because I think people are going to flock to San Antonio. People are going to flock to San Antonio, and just remember this: when Pop retires, I don't like this because I'm more of a fan of the other great women's coach at South Carolina, Dawn Staley, but I think they got Becky Hammond's seat warm.
And it's only right. Yeah,
because, I think they got her seat warm, and she'd be coaching Wembanyama, winning championships. Honestly, so who knows, man? But yeah. Well, folks, we are now at 10:11 p.m. on the East Coast. Me and Larry are both tired as hell, but we're going to tell the world how we feel because, before we get to that, folks, before we get to how we feel, let's get this promotion for LaTaurus. Hey guys, this is Robb Johnson from Robb Johnson Media. I just want to let you guys know LaTaurus, one of the best brands out there for activewear. No matter if you're hiking, running, playing golf, playing tennis, it doesn't matter what you're doing. When you have on this right here, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, you feel good and your performance will be great. LaTaurus, check it out today at lataurus.com. Yeah, guys, make sure you go check out LaTaurus, lataurus.com. Also, on Instagram. Check out Latoris. You will be seeing that promo on all of my shows. I got some more promos coming as well. And just to mention to you guys, if you want that type of commercial done, if you want that type of promotion done, I am doing it now for it is only $40. And that is a very cheap price for the type of work that I do and the type of dedication I put into my work. So get it now, get the special before the prices go up. $40. I got you. Now let's go to tell the world how you feel. All right, Larry, tell the world how you feel, man.
So this was actually supposed to be to tell you the world how you feel last week, but then I switched it up. But nothing negative, nothing, out of newsworthy, but we about to step into a grand old time as far as sports, with the Olympics kicking off in the next couple weeks, and then with NFL training camp kicking off. Everybody loves football. Baseball continue with its path heading into October. It's about to be a grand old time here for those guys that love sports. And if you don't love sports, go do something else. But I want to touch on Bronny James yesterday. And I know a lot of people were, man, he should have stayed where he was. And I mean, hey, I'm not against it. Maybe he should have stayed in college another year, maybe transfer somewhere else, but just get that extra in his belt. But let's not throw the kid in the trash just yet. Just let some things brew. He did some things. Yeah, he scored 4 points, but he also did things inside the game that a lot of people don't really see, with getting a couple steals, hustling to his guy got a shot block, and he hustled toward that, drove to the basket. He missed a shot, but he displayed hustle. He displayed some energy. Just game one. It's just game one, people. Let it brew. Let it steam. Let it brew. He's also probably going to be going to the G League at some point this year anyway. Just be patient. Be patient. He's not going to be like his dad. So let's get that out the way. But just let it brew. That's it.
So what I want to say first and foremost is congratulations to Angel Reese, 13 straight games, double doubles. I see grown men online talking about how rebounds don't matter if you're rebounding your own basketball. You know how hard it is to rebound a basketball? And if she wasn't hustling, you guys would say that she doesn't care. She was trying to look cute on the court. They beat Seattle. They lost today, but 17 points, 14 rebounds. People like LaShawn McCoy said her game wouldn't translate. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever won yesterday. I continue to be worried about the New York Liberty because I just don't know what New York Liberty team I'm going to get in the playoffs. I look at a team like Atlanta. I don't know what Atlanta team I'm going to get. I will say this: the Sparks are going to be better. They're going to be better, and they're going to continue to play better basketball. But let me say this, folks. This is what I want to say right now. Kyrie Jackson, for the Minnesota Vikings was killed in a car accident. Among 3 people killed. The driver was drunk. I can't emphasize this enough. Please put down the alcohol. It's poison. The NFL wanted to suspend you at one time for marijuana, which I don't do marijuana. I think marijuana is evil too, but they wanted to suspend you over marijuana. But they kept giving you beer commercials during the Super Bowl. They promote beer. They have beer at the stadiums. They have beer everywhere you go. Alcohol is promoted. This young man was 24 years old from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Prince George County. 6'4", 194. Killed in a car accident.
Man, he would have had some size.
Just Please, everyone, I beg you and I pray for you, please stop drinking and driving. Don't drink. I mean, if you want to drink, that's fine, but be at home. Get an Uber. Right here, somebody said that Kyrie Jackson at the Senior Bowl, he was excited about the future and just reached his ultimate reached his ultimate dream. So, because somebody wanted to be ignorant and wanted to drink and drive, a young brother then lost his life, and he ain't coming back. See how fast life can hit you, folks? You can be here 1 minute, you can be gone the next. I'm not gonna play an intro. I'm not gonna play an outro tonight. Larry, if you don't mind, sir, we got a moment of silence for Kyrie Jackson and his family. Y'all have a blessed night.